Hi guys, this is Marvin. If today is the first time of stopping by, you're most definitely welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back again to watch another video. So I'm an international student based in Canada and I share my life experiences here as an international student in Canada. So today I'm going to be talking about things or important things to do immediately you arrive here in Canada as an international student. So don't go anywhere and let's get straight into the video. So in this video, I'll be talking about things to do both at your port of entry or the airport once you land in Canada, and also things you do after you leave the airport. So once you land in Canada at the airport, the first thing you're supposed to get is your study permit. So your study permit is issued by the Canadian Border Security Agent at the port of entry or the Canadian International Airport, which is where you land first when you enter Canada. So yeah, on your study permit, it must have your name, your date of birth, the date you are supposed to finally leave Canada, and then it must also have, that is the expiry date of your study permit. And if you are eligible to work in Canada as well, it should be written in it, right? So once your study permit is handed over to you, make sure you check that everything on it is correct, because once you leave the airport and you go to your place of residence and you realize there's a mistake on your study permit, it can be stressful trying to correct that, especially if you are far away from your port of entry. So once you get your study permit, make sure everything on the study permit is correct and accurate. The second important thing to do is your SIN, which is your social insurance number. So every Canadian citizen, permanent resident or a temporary resident such as a student needs to have a social insurance number. For students or temporary residents, your social insurance number begins with a 9, right? And it's a 9-digit number. And it is your responsibility to, safeguard your social insurance number. The social insurance number, which is also known as the SIN, helps you, makes you eligible to work in Canada and also have access to government benefits and services here in Canada. And where can you get your SIN? You can get your SIN from your port of entry, which is the international airport in which you land at when you enter into Canada. But if you are not able to do that at your port of entry, you need to go to Service Canada, because that's where mostly this SIN is issued, right? You need to go to Service Canada to get your SIN done. And the documents needed for your SIN are your immigration documents, which in this case is your study permit and your passport as well. It is your responsibility to keep your SIN safe. It is your responsibility to keep your SIN safe. Nobody has to see your SIN unless it is important to do so. For instance, if you are opening a bank account, you will need your SIN number, right? And once you are offered a job as well, you need your employer will need your SIN number as well. Apart from these ones, you need to keep your SIN safe unless it is important for you to give it out. Always make sure your SIN is up to date. In case your SIN should expire and maybe you are supposed to take up another course or program here in Canada, make sure you go back to Service Canada and get your SIN up to date. Next thing you need to get is your cell phone plan or your SIM card. Now, what most people do is, or what some people do is, they get their cell phone plan or a SIM card when they are transiting, right? So, for instance, if I am coming to Newfoundland, St. John's, and I'm transiting through Montreal, some people end up getting their SIM cards at Montreal before they finally, let's say, come to their final destination. But I always advise that you get to your final destination before you get your cell phone plans or your SIM cards, and always look out for promotions, because especially for students, for example, during the fall time, these cell phone companies bring out, or they do a lot of promotions which are favorable to students as well. So make sure you look out for the best promotion that suits you as a student, right? And it's not too expensive. And there are various cell phone plan companies, right? So we have Kudo, we have Telus, we have Bell, Rogers, and many others. So yeah, make sure you go through all of them and then choose the one that best suits you. The next thing you need to do is get a bank account and also a credit card. In Canada, getting a credit card is very important because the country is mostly run on the credit system. If you need to buy anything, if you need to buy a house, they check your credit history. If you need to buy a car, anything at all, they demand for your credit history. So it's really important to start building your credit record immediately you enter into Canada. And because from where we come from, mostly in Africa, we buy things with our debit card. We are not used to using credit cards. So mostly when students come here into Canada, they don't request for a credit card, and in the long run it goes against them because in Canada they use the credit system. So once you open a bank account, make sure you request for a credit card as well for you to start building your credit record immediately you enter into Canada. And yeah, mostly what you need to open a bank account are your passport, your study permit, and then they are going to ask for your SIN as well. So yeah, these are the documents you need when opening a bank account. So the next important thing to do is your health insurance. So each province has its own health insurance. So I'll be talking about my province's health insurance, right? So it is called the Medical Care Plan. In short, is the MCP. So as an international student, once you've been enrolled into your program of choice in your school, you are directly on a health plan, right, from your school. So in order to get the provincial health insurance, which is the MCP, you are supposed to opt out of the school's health insurance and then apply for the provincial government's health insurance, which is the Medical Care Plan or the MCP. And this MCP gives you access to free medical care, so you can go to the hospital at any time once you have your MCP card with you. So the next important thing to do when you come to Canada is to look for accommodation. So like I've already said in my previous video where I talked about how to find accommodation in Canada, if you are coming here for the very first time and you are coming alone and you don't know anybody in the province in which you are coming, you can easily just book a space on Airbnb for a short stay, maybe a week or two, so as to get a place to stay. And then once you come into Canada, at least you have a place to stay, and then you can also start looking for accommodation for a long stay. So in that way, you'll be able to visit the places and then see them for yourself and then choose the one that suits you the best. So the next important thing to do when you come to Canada is to get your bus pass, right? So once you come into Canada like fresh, maybe you may not be driving yet because it will take time for you to get your license and buy a car, or all those things. So yeah, you need to get a bus pass, and in Newfoundland we use the Metro Bus Transit card, right? So this is the bus pass we use in Newfoundland. And when I came in, I got the actual price for the card is $5, but there are packages. There's a package for 10 rides, there's a package for a monthly bus pass, and there's a semester pass. So I paid for the monthly bus pass, and it cost me $78. So just to get this card for the very first time, I paid $78 plus $5, so all totaling $83 for the bus pass. And then once you've paid for once you have this every month, you can reload yourself. And in reloading, I will just have to be paying $78, not $83, because now I have the card. So I'll just be paying $78. And I think the semester pass is like $270. I think $270, around that figure. Yeah, but I always go for the monthly bus pass, which is $78 per month. And this card, or the transit system in Canada, varies from province to province. There are other provinces that have different cards. Some have the Presto card, some call it other names. So it varies from province to province. But in Newfoundland, this is the bus pass we use. So the last thing I will talk about is finding a job. So now that at least you have a place where you can put your head and you have your means of transportation, the next thing to do is how to look for a job here in Canada. So I also have a video on how to find part-time jobs as an international student. I'll link it right here so you can watch it as well. So now you can find a job, and like I said, in Canada there are various websites that you can use to look for jobs. And the other way you can find a job is to move around yourself and drop your CVs in the stores or in the establishments you'd want to work in. And referrals, like I said, are very huge here in Canada. So yeah, finding a job is also important when you come into Canada. So this brings us to the end of today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also like, comment and share my videos if you find them useful. See you same time next week. Bye.